What's next? Why do we hang around people that make us uncomfortable? Like people who do things or say things that make us pretty much not want to be there anymore. Maybe it's basically them expressing part of our own personality that we keep hidden from ourselves, part of our subconscious, and these people are like the omega version of that, the uber version of a subconscious part of us that we kind of hid from ourselves, and our subconscious wants to show us this. Maybe these people have an aspect that we'd like more for ourselves, like a quiet person hangs out with a robust, outwardly person who's rude, but the part of them that the introvert wants to take a part of is the little bit of extrovertism, take a part of that. Or maybe you want to face the little part of racism that we all have. We all have a little bit of racism in ourselves. Not racism, prejudice. Prejudice is a much better word. We makes us easy to see a few pieces of information and form a conclusion. That makes us prejudice, which is, something an alert person or aware person addresses constantly, because you realize, oh wait, I see the facts and I've reached a conclusion, but let's hold off on that conclusion for now. It's just part of ourselves. But if we're made aware of it outwardly rather than subconsciously, maybe our subconscious helps us want to deal with it. I'm basically saying this because I know that I've hung out with people in the past who really I never liked. I'm an introvert and they were extroverts. But they were to the point of taking advantage of other people, which, I never really want to take advantage. I never want to take advantage of anybody. But with that, being an introvert, sometimes my needs were overshadowed. And, an extrovert, their needs are never overshadowed, especially if they're a narcissist. So there's a middle way where the introvert part, says, hey, hang out with this extrovert part, and maybe you can learn something and be more extrovert so your needs will be met much more efficiently or effectively. That kind of thing. Maybe there's an extrovert part of us deep inside when we meet them, or that wants to learn to get further out, more express ourselves. The other part where we pick somebody in our life to hang around with who we want to change and make better, because we see that they have a potential to be a better person, and we come in and we want to, quote, help them. And that's, of course, is, in my opinion, a false pretense, because no one can really change. You can modify aspects of yourself once you're made aware of them, but no one can change anyone else. For the most part, we're only responsible for who we are. And with that, you have to take people at face value. And, maybe they do have potential, but they'll never realize that potential without, them taking awareness of it, taking it upon themselves to work on themselves and change. No one can change anyone else. You can only change yourself. True change comes from within. And I was thinking about parts of that where I lost my train of thought. Well, part of myself, that kind of thing where I hang out with people who, they seem like stars. I'm quiet, and they are outwards, meeting people, picking up women, taking advantage of people. Like I never want to take advantage of people, but I don't want to be taking advantage of myself. So there must be a happy medium where you can have yourself not be taken advantage of by learning how the other people take advantage. Maybe that's the thought. Where if you hang out with someone who takes advantage of other people, you can learn from them only to the point of what to look for so you don't have your own needs taken advantage of. But the worst person to take advantage of us is ourselves, when we overextend ourselves and help other people with, but sacrifice ourselves, which I've talked about previously, that you really should never sacrifice yourself to help others, because you really can't effectively help them if you're not at your highest self. When it comes to work, I'm a go-getter. I try to get everything done, and then people expect more from me. So if I'm not able to accomplish the goal that they set out for me, they make me feel inferior because they expected me to get it complete. But I have a much higher bar, a higher standard than other people. So they've set the bar higher for me, and I unfortunately take it upon myself to grab that bar and say, yep, I can accomplish it. And when I don't disappoint them, I disappoint myself. You have to make your own meter. You have to make your own bar. Don't let anyone set it for you. And that's why when I do work, when everyone asks for a timeline of when things are going to get done, I double it. I tell them longer than I know I can get done a lot faster. But the problem is, I know I can get it done faster, but when I have to rely on other people and their contributions, they're going to drag me out. And more often than not, when I get to accomplish my goal, I have all my ducks in a row, but when I have to get the other parts from other people, they don't have their stuff. And then they go, oh, you can do it. And I'm like, no, I can't. I don't have that information. A lot of times when you work with other people, they're exposed to different information that you don't have. They're supposed to contribute something. And it's like school. In school, when you did a group project and everyone has to contribute their part, and then some people don't. And unfortunately, sometimes the one go-getter, the one nerd, ends up doing most of the work, and the teacher just overlooks it. And then these people who take it, and it just continues into the corporate world. So if you're a go-getter to get things accomplished pretty quickly, and you work perfectly fine by yourself, but then you have to work in a group, and then you end up doing all the work, you gotta stop doing that. You have to stop trying to impress everyone else, because the only person in life who really matters, that's yourself. It doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks about you. It's your own personal self-confidence, your self-awareness that's important. And don't let anyone manipulate you and make you think you're less than what you really are. Because when people push you down and make you think that you're not accomplishing the goals, it makes you look bad to yourself. You don't want to be that way. What's next?